The golf swing is one of the most complicated motions in sports. But if you break it down simply, it's just a wrist hinge, an arm swing, and a pivot. So today we're going to talk about 3 drills that you can do to perfect those movements in your swing in order to make that complicated motion much more simple. So the first drill we're going to tackle here this morning is the preset takeaway drill. This is a drill you see Nelly Korda do on the range quite a bit. And it simplifies the wrist hinge and gives you the feeling early in the swing without anything else moving so that you can really feel how you're supposed to hinge your wrists going back. So the first step is just get into your setup position, normal setup. And then from here, you're going to preset your wrist angle. Now, the toe of the club, we want it, let's call this 90 degrees, anywhere from 90 degrees to 45 degrees. Now, how do you determine that? Would be based on the ball flight. So if you're hitting it high or to the right, you probably want to knock this down a little bit. You know, instead of having it at 12 o'clock, feel like you turn it a little bit more towards 11. Probably don't want to get it past like 10:30, so somewhere in there, and just experiment with how much of this motion you'd feel as you set the wrist angle. You primarily will probably feel it in the back of your right wrist, or everybody's a little bit different. You might feel it in your left wrist. So I feel as I turn my right wrist down towards the ground more, like I'm dribbling a basketball, that's going to set that angle closer to the 11 o'clock position. So set up, set that angle, and you can see now when I set that angle, my left hand is right in front of my right thigh. So really, very, very minimal movement of anything but my wrists. When you set the angle, you want the club head right in front of your hands or slightly out this way. You don't want to get that club head behind our hand. It's at this position here. So really feel like you're taking your time setting that angle. And then once you get that angle set, from here, you're going to swing the club up. And as you bring your arms down, turn through the finish, just basically making your normal golf swing. Set up, set that angle, and the toe is somewhere between 11 and 12 o'clock. That's where I like it. Now here, my arms are nice and relaxed. I'm going to turn to the top, swing down, hit the ball. And again, feeling this and being aware of this angle is very important. So that way, when you make your normal swing and you incorporate your arm swing in the pivot, you'll feel that same motion as you swing the club up in front of your chest. You really want to make sure when you're doing this drill, minimize how much you move your body and your arms into this position. One of the mistakes I see people make when doing this drill is they'll swing their arms back to here and get the club in the position they're looking for. But you can see I have very minimal wrist hinge in this position. If I bring my hands closer, more in front of my right thigh, now you can see I have more of an angle here in my left wrist. Where here we don't really have that angle set. So if you were to set and go to the top like this, your arm, you wouldn't have much of a wrist hinge. So really feeling as you're setting that angle right in front of your right thigh, now as I go back, you can see I have that club much closer to 90, making a right angle with my left arm. Why this drill is so helpful is on the lesson tee every day, one of the things I see most amateur golfers do is turn and roll the club inside. So they get a lot of forearm rotation and open the face up. And so then as they come down, they get into this bad position, right? So they never really hinge the wrists properly going back. And what this does gives you the sensation, the feeling of where you have that club here, this motion, setting this angle, really helps get the club up more in the right position going back and not get that club so flat and going behind you. Yeah, and when you see this rolling of the wrists in a bad hinge, generally the club gets open and behind you. And as you come down, the club works out over the top to try to square up the face. But when we hinge the wrist properly here, getting the club more in front of us and get a better wrist hinge, it's much easier to get the club to swing more up over your hands, which then allows you, in the change of direction, to shallow the club a little bit, attack the ball more from the inside. Generally, the people that are coming over the top, it's primarily due to an open club face. And if you're setting this wrist angle incorrectly, as you go back, rolling it, opening the face, then you're going to have to try to make up for it when you come down into the golf ball. So really setting this angle here to this position is important. And I would tell you, as you experiment with the different club face positions, I would start with having the club more angled this way, kind of pointing down more towards the ball, where like they use this, the face angle to reference it with your spine into that position and hitting it from there and getting a feel for that. That's going to help you lower the ball flight a little bit. And if anything, the club face is a little more closed than it would be open, which generally, again, most golfers that are coming over the top have too much of an open club face. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you liked it, please click the thumbs up, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you want more information about me or you want some online instruction, I have a Skillest profile, which you can find the details below. So hopefully, I'll see you on some videos and help you play this great game better.